Welcome, Arithmetic Ninjas, to subtracting a decimal from a whole number. Now, some of these are harder than others, so we've just picked a selection to have a look at. Now, question number one, you can probably just do in your head. It's going to be 1 take away 0.7. Well, to get back up to a whole one from 0.7, it would go 0.8, 0.9, 1 whole one. So that's going to be 0.3. If you can't do that in your head, you could always do a column method. Now, remember, 1 is the same as 1 with a 0.0 on the end. 1 whole one is 1.0. So you're actually doing 1.0 take away 0.7. Now, if you line up your decimal points first and do 1.0 take away 0.7, you're going to get 0.3. 0 take away 7, more on the floor, so borrow from next door. Borrow from the 1, and that becomes a 0. And the 1 you've borrowed makes this 0 into 10. 10 take away 7 is 3, and 0 take 0 is 0. Don't forget your decimal point. Answer 0.3. The next one, 6 take away 3.8. Now again, there's various ways you could do this. You could knock off your 3 first and then knock off your 0.8. So 6 take away 3 is going to be 3. And then you've got to do 3 take away 0.8. Well, that's going to go down into 2, isn't it? It's going to go below 3 into 2. So it's going to be 2.2. So it looks as though your answer is going to be 2.2. But again, if you want to check with a column method, remember that 6 is the same as 6.0. So 6.0 take away 3.8, let's double check. 0 take 8 we can't do, more on the floor, so borrow from next door. Borrow from the 6 becomes a 5, and the 1 we've borrowed makes the 0 into 10. 10 take away 8, that's 2. 5 take away 3, that's 2. So the answer, once you put your decimal point in, is 2.2. Okay, for question 14, we need a slightly different approach, because this time it's part of the question that's actually missing. So what we've got to realise here is if you're subtracting some mystery number from 7 and you're getting 1.43 as the answer, then the mystery number and 1.43 together must get you back to 7. If you add those two numbers together, you get back to 7. So what you could actually do is take off the 1.43 from 7. If you take off 1.43 from 7, whatever's left will be our missing answer in the box. So remember, 7 is the same as 7.0. So if we start with 7.0 and take off 1.43, remember to line your decimal points up. Now we've got an extra space here, which we might as well fill in with 0 before carrying on. So 0 take away 3 we can't do. More on the floor, borrow from next door. But you can't borrow from this 0 because there's nothing there. So you've got to borrow from the 7. Borrow from the 7, that becomes 6. And the 1 you've borrowed makes this 0 into 10. Borrow from the 10, and that becomes 9. And that makes this 0 into 10. 10 take away 3 is 7. 9 take away 4 is 5, and 6 take away 1 is 5. So it's 5.57. Now you could almost see this one like a money question. That might help as well. You could say, well, what is £7 take away £1.43? You could knock off the £1 first, which would be £6, and then once you're down to £6, then take away your 43 pence. £6 take away 40 pence would be £5.60. And then take away another 3 pence would knock you down to £5.57. So you could also think about it mentally that way. Whichever way you do it, your answer is 5.57. On to question 19. It's a similar one to question 14. So again, these two numbers must add together to make 12, must get us back to 12. So if we start with 12.0 and take away 7.24, whatever's left will be the answer that goes in our box. Again, we've got an empty gap there, so you fill that in with a 0. We could try the money way this time. We could try doing it mentally and then checking our answer with a column method. So if you knock off £7 from £12, so 12 take away 7 is £5, then you need to knock off your 24p. Knock off your 20p will take you down to £4.80, and knock off your 4p will take you down to £4.76. So it looks as though the answer is going to be 4.76. But let's double check with a column method. 0 take away 4 we can't do, so borrow from next door. But you can't borrow from 0 because there's nothing there. Borrow from the 2. Borrow from the 2, that becomes a 1, and the 1 we've borrowed makes this 0 into 10. Borrow from the 10, that becomes a 9, and makes this 0 into 10. Now we can carry on. 10 take away 4 is 6. 9 take away 2 is 7. 1 take away 7 we can't do. So we borrow from the 1 and that becomes a 0. And the 1 we've borrowed makes this 1 into 11. 11 take away 7 is 4. And nothing take away nothing is nothing. Put your decimal point in, 4.76. So that's the same answer as when we did it using the mental method. The last one, 97 take away 8.59. Now, we're just missing the answer here. It's not part of the question, so we don't need to work in reverse. We can just do a straight column method. But remember, 97 is 97.0. So 97.0 take away 8.59. We've got a gap on the end here, so let's fill that in with a 0 before we carry on. And away we go. 0 take away 9 we can't do, so borrow from next door. But you can't borrow from next door, so borrow from the 7. Borrow from the 7 becomes a 6, and the 1 we borrow makes that into 10. Borrow from the 10, that becomes 9, and the 1 we borrow makes that into 10. Now we can carry on. 10 take away 9 is 1, 9 take away 5 is 4, 6 take away 8 we can't do, more on the floor, so borrow from next door. Borrow from the 9, that becomes 8, and the 1 we borrowed makes that into 16. 16 take away 8 is 8. 8 take away nothing is 8 again. Put your decimal point in. Final answer, 88.41. Now we've practiced questions 1, 2, 14, 19 and 20. It's now time for you to have a go at the rest. Good luck.